We initially started not long after we got married, and from that time until we got pregnant with our twins, it was 3.5 years. My mindset was, I'm gonna do this on my own. Like, I don't want the help. Like, I want it to be natural, you know? Like, I had these dreams of wanting to be a mom for such a long time.
When I met Christine, she had already had 4 losses. So she not only had problems getting pregnant, but problems staying pregnant. So she met the official diagnosis of habitual miscarrier, 3 miscarriages without a successful pregnancy.
You wait so long to get pregnant, and then you find out you're having a miscarriage. Like, it's just a really cruel thing, you know, to experience. And you know, the joy was there and the excitement was there, but it was so short-lived that it was a really hard thing. And I remember the first time we got pregnant and the first time you saw those 2 really dark lines. And I remember Paul and I being so excited. And I thought, this was our moment. This was gonna be our excitement and our joy. And it ended up being a very short-lived experience, you know? And that was really, really difficult.
So we spent a fair amount of time focusing on repetitive miscarriage. As part of that, she also had a uterine anomaly. It clearly was not an infertility problem because she was successful at getting pregnant, even if it was subfertility or kind of delays between pregnancies. But her main problem was her repetitive miscarriages.
I didn't know a lot of people that had gone through this until I became very vocal about it. And the more vocal I became, the more I healed, but the more vocal I became, the more I understood that there were so many other women who were in my shoes, but I had to be vocal first, you know? And then you realize that all these people are going through similar things, and they're hurting too, and they understand.
So Christine had a large uterine septum. The idea behind that as a miscarriage risk is if there's implantation along the septum, there's not enough tissue underneath or blood flow to support the pregnancy, and there's a loss rate. And that's one piece of it, and we can kind of flesh out all the details of a repetitive miscarriage workup, but her history was really repetitive miscarriage plus a uterine anomaly.
So we cover the basics. He gives us our options. He's always teaching, always drawing, you know, always teaching me like all these things, and I come with my big Post-it notes, notebook, and I have all of these questions, and he's always so patient. I don't know what he thinks of when he sees me with all these questions, but he's the best sport.
So in her case, it was an operative hysteroscopy where using a little scope in the cervix, cautery was used to shave the septum out. She went through 2 surgeries to shave the majority of the septum, let it heal, come back and shave the rest of the septum out. She did conceive and have another loss, but then she conceived again and had twins. So yes, she had some extra care during her pregnancy because she was at risk after her septum repair of an incompetent cervix.
We had our first ultrasound at 6 weeks, and I was like prepared for the worst because these ultrasounds I've never had a good ultrasound up until this point. It's always non-viable or nothing's growing or it just didn't look healthy. And there were 2 babies, and nobody told us we were having twins, right? Because I look at all these like women's groups and ultrasounds, I'm like, Paul, there are twins. So like, I saw the screen, I knew right away, no one had to tell me. I'm like, there's twins. I was so excited. Like, I wanted twins my whole life. I can't think of a lot of great things that like have really been awesome in my life, but having twins after so many years of infertility, after having so many losses, like twins was just a really cool thing. And the closer I got to week 24 was viability week, you know, and I was just like, Paul, we're gonna win, we're gonna make it. And I remember Dr. Coussons saying, you know, just be ready, twins can come early, you know, 4 to 6 weeks. And I was ready to meet him at 28, I was ready to meet him at 30, and I was ready to meet him every single day. And those twins, they went full term. You know, they went to 37 weeks and 5 days. And I loved it. I loved it so much. Not everybody likes being pregnant, but I knew that what I had was an incredible gift. I had a gift I waited my entire life for, you know. I was just so excited, you know, we had a date and we were gonna meet these babies, and we came in, I went into the operating room at 8 o'clock, and at 8:16 and 8:17, the girls were born. I heard them cry, and it was the coolest moment.
Christine is, she's a very unique soul. She is the most unselfish person that I've probably met, and she, even if she was in a bad spot and hurting, she wanted to ask me some random question, like, what's the favorite vacation I've ever been on? What's the best lesson I learned from raising children, even when she didn't have kids. So she's that kind of person that cares deeply about other people. And I always knew she'd be a great mom.
I would recommend Dr. Coussons to anyone, you know, who's going through infertility, like just super knowledgeable and always up to date with, I feel like, research and just any question you have. And he's willing to help you, you know, when you're not in the office too. You know, if you need help or an emergency, I feel like, you know, he'll lend a hand and take a phone call or an email or something. Like, he's always there in case you need something. And I've never met a doctor like that before.